Hey guys, welcome back to another, I guess this is a video impressions video on the latest downloadable game that I got from the eShop, and that game is Attack of the Friday Monsters by Level 5 for the Nintendo 3DS. This is a brief overview here of the story that in the 1950s the Japanese film industry got really popular with the monster movie type, and the giant monsters are known as kaiju. So think, monsters like Godzilla and all those over-the-top types of monsters. So essentially, this game takes place in 1971 in a village in the outskirts of Tokyo. And as you can see, or as you can hear, first of all, the game has a great soundtrack. That's the first thing that I have to point out about this game. Just listen to the beautiful presentation intro song. And the second thing that you're gonna see is how charming the game looks, which is actually the main reason why I got this game. Just the presentation is top notch. However, I do have to warn people out there, the game is extremely simple. It's extremely short and it does not pose a challenge at all. So you pretty much play this game for its charm, for the story, and just to get soaked into this village outside of Tokyo and its and the people that live in it. I'm just gonna give a brief overview of the story. As I mentioned, the game takes place in this village in the outskirts of Tokyo that just so happens to have a TV station that airs these kaiju monster movies that just so happen to be really popular around that time. So you play the role of this 10-year-old boy named Sota, I believe, whose parents own this dry cleaners shop here. And as you can see, here are your parents working in the dry cleaners. And you basically spend the game talking to people, trying to make new friends, because you're the new kid on the block. And every Friday, the monsters come out and attack, quote unquote, attack the city. So it's an event that the kids get together to see. And I'm just gonna stop there in terms of the story because I don't want to spoil anything since the game is really short. If I keep talking more about the story, I'm gonna start spoiling a little bit, and that's one of the main reasons why you want to buy this game. So basically, the one thing that I like about this game is as you progress through, you find out more things about the story, and the dialogue and the narrative of the game itself leads you to believe something is going to happen, but that one thing that you're suspecting that it will happen, it doesn't really happen. So the narrative in the game is pretty good, and as you can see, the game uses a fixed camera angle, pretty much similar to the original Resident Evil, which I love the original Resident Evil. So in a way, it reminded me of the old school fixed camera angle games. Scattered throughout the environment, you're gonna see these shiny gleams. In this case, I got a mystery gleam, and basically what they are is you have to use them to collect cards. So if you collect enough gleams of the same type, you can have different types of cards, which, as you can see, have different levels and strengths. And you use these cards in a rock, paper, scissors type of game. As you can see, this card right here is the Pilar, and it gives you a brief description of the monster, and this monster represents a rock. So you can challenge the other kids in town to play the card game, which again, essentially it's a glorified rock, paper, scissors type of card game. A little bit more in-depth than the actual rock, paper, scissors game, but nothing challenging at all. It's actually really easy to play the game and understand its rules. But the game actually doesn't revolve around that card game. You do have to play to progress through the game, but I don't think you have to play it more than 4 or 5 times to advance throughout the story mode. And I guess the best way to describe this game in terms of a genre would be, this is an adventure game with visual novel and point and click elements, if you will. Because basically what you do is you end up talking to people, and essentially how the game is structured, I'm going to show you guys here. The game is broken down into, I'm going to show you guys the lower screen. The game is broken down into 26 different episodes. And as you can see, the ones in yellow are already complete, and you don't necessarily have to complete them in order. I already beat the game. So as you can see, I have a few episodes left to complete, but most of them are in yellow, meaning that I completed them. And as I mentioned, you don't have to complete them in order. And the way it works is that this is the lower screen, and you have your map right here. And the game is pretty straightforward. If you have an active episode going on, the map will tell you exactly where to go and who to talk to. Well, not all the time, but most of the time the map is a good guide. And as I mentioned, it's almost impossible to get stuck in this game. The game is pretty straightforward, and the narrative is pretty set on stone. So you do have to follow a certain order on how to proceed in the game. So let me just switch back to the main screen here and just keep walking around the town, and so you can just soak into this charming Japanese village environment. And again, this game is not challenging at all. You will never die in this game. The game is short. You'll be able to complete it in under 3 hours. So you play this game for the story and for the characters. And perhaps the quote-unquote toughest part of the game is the battle card game, but again, that's not really complicated. It's really easy, and even if you lose a card battle, you can just play it again and repeat the the event again. As far as soundtrack is fantastic in this game. It's really well done, one of the highest points in the game for sure. And this is the TV station where they air all the monster shows that I mentioned previously. And this game, it really evokes those moments that we all probably had in our childhood, of just being an innocent 10-year-old boy. You're there's magic in the air. You're full of imagination. The possibilities are endless. It's just that magic of being a kid, having nothing to worry about. And the game really captures that throughout its narrative and dialogue, and just its overall presentation. I think it's a really good way to go back in time and experience that time of your life where you had you met new people, you met new friends. You didn't necessarily have to worry too much about everything, and the world just seemed to be this huge thing that you wanted to conquer, and it's just that overall magic of being a child. And the game does a really beautiful job of portraying those emotions, portraying those memories, and going back in time and experiencing your life. And the narrative helps a whole lot in that regard. There I found another glim. The more glims you collect, the stronger your cards get, or you get new monsters and new cards. And as you can see, the environments are just beautiful. So if you're into Japanese games or anything like that, of anything similar to that, I highly recommend you pick this up. Again, I keep in mind that this is, I think it's an $8 game. So for its length of 3 hours, keep in mind that the game is not very long, that the game is very easy. But if you want to be, wowed by its story and charm, then definitely give this one a shot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. and give this game a shot. I think this is gonna be a very underrated and unheard of type of game for the eShop of the Nintendo 3DS, and I'm really hoping that Level 5 produces more games in the series, or a sequel, or what have you. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video impressions / gameplay video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.